History is incredible, and even in an endless effort to absorb it all, new history is being written every single day. In the silver and gold mines of Nevada in the late 1800s, millionaires were created one day and lost the very next. But through the brutality of summer and the futility of winter, they persevered. And this is the heart of the American spirit. But for me, it isn't enough to just read about it in some textbook. I need to get out there and relive it for myself. So I grabbed that textbook, loaded up the Jeep, and went searching for the American frontier. This trip was definitely not without its challenges. From unexpected summer storms to washed out roads making routes totally impassable. It's a funny thing though about adversity. It makes reaching the destination all that much greater.
Hey guys, welcome to Rhino Off-Road. So here's the deal. I got this book about a week ago. It's called Nevada Ghost Towns and Mining Camps by a gentleman named Stanley Paher. He wrote this back in the 1970s, so it's over 50 years old at this point. But what's really cool about it is, aside from having a bunch of photos and history of almost all the gold mines and silver mines that existed around this area in the 1800s, it has a map. Most of the time when I go out and try to find an old gold mine, I'm using Gaia GPS and all these tools, but not this trip. This trip, I'm gonna use the map that's in the front of this book, and I'm gonna see if I can still find some of these old roads and get to a ghost town or two myself to be able to experience the American spirit and the American adventure firsthand. Okay, so Highway 50 is right here, Fairview is right here, and then you can see Wonder is marked on the map at this location. Now we are about halfway, from what I can tell, up this dirt road. Now, since I'm already pretty close to what's marked as Victor, I'm gonna see if it's possible to basically take a road from where Victor is and get into Wonder, it looks like there's a little town called Hercules as well. If that doesn't work, we'll have to go back down this road, take this turn off and see if I can find it, and then head up from the south. But we're gonna try the northern entrance first, and then we will go from there. So let's hop in the Jeep and get started. Okay, so as we're driving here, a little bit of history about the town of Wonder. So, in 1906, some prospectors from the town of Fairview, it was in that big mountain peak behind us, walked past Chalk Mountain and basically went up this wash in the Clown Alpine Range. And what they found was massive veins of quartz. They assayed it, figured out that it's very valuable, and literally within a month, hundreds of people moved to the town of Wonder in order to, get a piece of the pie, so to speak. So this company moved in, built this massive cyanide plant, which there's actually photos of in the book. And a cyanide plant, if you guys don't know, yes, cyanide is a poison, but it is also can be used to, as I understand it, bond with gold ore and help make it easier to extract out of other minerals. Over the course of this mine's existence, which was at its heyday really about 10 to 15 years, it returned almost $2 million just to the stakeholders alone in this company, which for 1910 dollars is a ton. What I think is even more fascinating though is that at this town's height, I mean, there were saloons, there were ballrooms and dance halls. There's actually a photo in the book of a community dance they had, which again, like that kind of thing just fascinates me. There were real estate companies who came in and it's at one point sold lots for as high as $8,000, which again, early $1,900 is a ton. It only lasted, from what I can tell, for about 15 to 20 years, and at some point the mine dried up and people just kind of moved on. The book really doesn't mention what the status of the mine is today, and all the photos are historical photos from the late 1800s, early 1900s. So to be honest, I'm not totally sure what's left. I'm really excited to see what we find. Again, this kind of history just fascinates me, and there's also, just the sense of adventure that you get by being able to take your Jeep out, go somewhere, and really relive this history for ourselves.
Man, that's cool. So I just started heading up the trail and I had to stop because the cell actually moved almost right on top of us. See, out to the west, it's actually pretty sunny, but over here, the cell is continually moving towards us. And I'm a little curious how the roads are gonna get. And I'm not sure if you can hear that, but the thunder is hitting pretty good too. So, tell you what. Okay, so it actually looks like the storm might be kind of passing us by just to the south, which is, I guess, good. Dixie Valley's down there, so I definitely went a little too far. I ran up basically towards this canyon. There's a river flowing right here, and there's this sign here that says "Keep Gate Closed," and I assume it's for wildlife or you know, people with grazing rights and things, but trying to figure out how to actually get this gate open is a little bit of a challenge. But instead of driving my Jeep up, I might just kind of quickly hop over and take a look. Actually, I might even just go underneath, to be honest. Okay. Yeah, I'll take a walk up here and see if there's anything interesting. The mine is somewhere, I think, over those hills, because I went up Dixie Valley about 15 miles to see if I could access it from the north side, and to be honest, I'm not super confident that I can. Shoot, it almost looks like this was the road, and then at some point the water got redirected, because there's definitely, let's see, oh yeah. So there certainly used to be a road here. I don't see any tire tracks, which I guess doesn't mean much. I mean, it takes one winter to wash all those away. The road's a lot more clear than it was, and it splits off, it looks like, into two. Again, we're kind of looking east here, south, which the mine is that way. I'm just curious if any of these roads have a logical way to get over there. If you look over here, I mean, this is nuts. You can see where the water has cut this canyon. So I'll tell you what, even if one of these roads did go south, as confident as I am in my Jeep, she ain't getting up that. So the road used to come right through here, but you can see massive amounts of water has just totally washed this away. Yeah, and it continues over there. I think my plan is gonna be to head back down the hill here. We'll hop in the Jeep and then see if we can enter Wonder from that southern road that was depicted on the map. All right, so I headed down the hill only like a quarter of a mile, and I happened to see a turnoff called Horse Creek Camp. So I drove up a little bit and check this out. Navy bought the Dixie Valley area, and I think for a while used it as a bombing range. They definitely don't anymore, but I'm not quite sure what this is. Got like an old artillery piece of some kind. It's an old car here. I don't know what this would have been. Actually, maybe a little Jeep or something. Sold some drum brakes. Man, I should pull some spare parts for my car. So this is definitely something military. It's serial number BUDD serial number 18932.
As a quick aside, I googled the serial number during editing and found out that it's a 1960s Ford M151A2, essentially a quarter-ton 4x4. Kind of like a Jeep, less capable. Anyways, back to the show.
No smoking while driving. Well, it sure sounds like the military. Way to ruin all the fun. Let's climb in this. Not much in there, just some old camo bags and stuff. Shell casings to either 5.56 or 223. Manufactured 10 of 67. So I bet you shortly after they bought the land, they went and built this. It's an old foundation here for something. All right, well, I don't want to burn any more daylight, so we're gonna head back downhill, but pretty cool find. Okay, so I was just driving back down the hill and I noticed that what I actually thought was just a closed off fence as I was driving up is actually a gate that it was just basically handmade so that you could keep wildlife, you know, fenced into this part of the land. But I already walked up the hill here and this road leads up into those mountains, which is where I need to go to get to the town of Wonder. There is a nice little watering hole blocking the road. So I think I'm gonna just drive across it, put it in 4-wheel low. I have my traction boards if I need it, and then get myself up on the trail because again, I thought that I wasn't gonna be able to access it all from the north, but this road is looking like it heads right up into those hills. So this could be pretty promising. I'm gonna move this fence out of the way and then we're going to cross that pond and get back on the trail.
Blackbird on a limb, both of them diving in deeper than they've been before. So baby, meet me down by the Roanoke River where the cool dark water meets the full moonlight. If we can sneak away, maybe we could be together. Candle by stop love tonight. Didn't know they'd been followed down through the hollow till a hand grabbed her by the arm. Blood's thicker than water, but even his father ain't never gonna do her no harm. And whiskey on his breath, they were scared.
I was cruising along, then hit a place here where the road is washed out. So I can probably get down here. The problem is I need to be able to get back up on that road. All right, guys, so I went up about another mile and check this out. This is so cool. Oh wow, what's that? Well, that is an old shaft for sure. Wow. There must have been some kind of heater or something there. There's a hole that went through the wall. Clearly this place has seen some better days, but man, these tables must be 120 years old. Here's another shack here. Climb myself up the hill. Okay, so really good start. Took me all day to get here. To be honest, looking at the land though, because there's some old black and white photos, and we'll get more into that later in the Ghost Town book, but it shows just a massive wide open valley. And don't get me wrong, this is pretty open, but I don't think this is quite it. There were a couple towns just north of Wonder, Victor and Hercules maybe. So it's possible that this is one of those. What I think I'm gonna do, I have maybe less than an hour of sunlight. I'm gonna keep driving up this road for maybe like 5 more minutes, and if I don't really see anything else that's promising, I'll probably come back. I'll honestly just park my Jeep right here and probably set up camp here for the night, just because it's getting dark and I don't think I'm gonna make too much more progress. But I'll let you guys know what I find. Otherwise, I'll see you at camp. Well, in case you're curious what Heartbreak looks like, for me tonight, it looks like a 6-foot washout in the road. If I could just hop up this, I think I would be up into the valley. There must have been so much water that came down here. Because look at that drop off up there. And that's gotta be a 10-foot wall. And I wonder if all the water kind of got dammed up behind there, and the only place it had to go was through here. Oh, man, so close. And to make matters worse, that mountain peak right back there, I think I saw in one of the pictures. So I can only be about 3 or 4 miles away. Oh man. There must have been standing water here, and then at some point it rose up, and the only place for it to go was right here. Man. Well, now I've got to figure out what I'm gonna do, because I could go back there and set up camp. I'm pretty confident that that is the town of Hercules, and again, once we're sitting around the campfire, I can talk more about those. But I mean, I could walk tomorrow, but I think quite a ways up that little ridge, and I don't really want to be without all my supplies, so probably not going to do that. I'm looking for any other place that possibly could climb up, but I just don't see it. Hey guys, so I climbed up into the tent, and kind of unlike me, but I actually decided to skip dinner, mostly because I'm exhausted. But also I just didn't feel like going through the effort. Got to camp a lot later than I thought, because I thought I was going to be able to make it up to where I think the town of Wonder is, but man, we were this close. But that washout of the road there is definitely a showstopper, unfortunately. So, I mean, I have to be within probably 3 miles, but I think my best recourse is probably to go back down the hill tomorrow and try from the south side. I mean, I could definitely walk in from where I'm at, and depending on how accessible the south road is, I may have to do that. But in the meantime, you know, I'm out here again by myself, so I don't really want to push anything too crazy. So I think for tomorrow, I might explore this mine just a little bit and look through some of these old buildings and things. I'm pretty convinced that where we're at right now is the town of Hercules. So if you look at the map here that's at the front of this book, it shows that basically Hercules and Wonder are only about 2 miles apart. And I actually flipped to the book here. I was going to read a little section for you guys about what it said about Hercules, because it's kind of fascinating. Hercules, 2 miles north of Wonder.
The silver camp existed as an adjunct of Wonder during 1906 to 1907 period, and the accepted mining camp enterprises were on hand, including the Weekly Miner, as well as a post office beginning in December of 1906. The camp's largest structure was the wood-framed St. Francis Hotel, which burned to the ground in the spring of 1907. St. Francis Hotel, and this is an advertisement from 1907, excellent rooms, cuisine unexcelled, headquarters for mining men in Wonder District, local and long-distance phone, wire for reservations, accommodations for 150. J. Francis Smith, proprietor. Nevada State Journal, March 17, 1907. The post office officially closed in October of 1908, indicating that the camp went poof earlier that year. But anyways, really fascinating stuff. It's actually almost a little cold out, which is phenomenal, to be honest. It means I'm going to sleep great. The Chromotop sleeping mattresses that I'm sitting on right now have been holding up really well. I still have my Kelty sleeping bag here, so it's going to be really comfortable. I installed these lights behind me on the tent just a couple months ago, and so finally don't have to actually carry a light up here, which has been kind of a pain, to be honest. But anyways, guys, I think I'm going to eat my adult Lunchables here, which is going to be dinner for tonight, and get some sleep, try to wake up early so we can get an early start on the day. We got a lot to see and a lot to do, so we're going to have to make up a lot of ground. But thanks for coming along, guys. I hope you enjoy this. We'll see you tomorrow morning.
Alright guys, good morning. I've already got the tent packed up, had a little snack for breakfast. I really wanted to go inside the mine here, but don't really want to have to climb over all the probably mouse poop or something that's on those rails. And yeah, I don't know, it looks kind of cool back there, but that's alright, we'll let this one go. I think this little shack over here, after looking at it for a little bit longer, was probably maybe one of the buildings where they either just did some assaying or whatnot. They have like some mesh material on these tables basically all around them, so it looks like maybe in these little channels down here, maybe with some water, you know, some of the ore they would run through and just try to like lightly sift it. From last night, it sounded like this was actually a silver mine, not a gold mine, so I'm not sure how different the process is there, but clearly I am not the first visitor. It's kind of too bad people do that. It's definitely older. It's kind of hard to say exactly how old this is, but I mean, this site was found in 1906, 1907, so presumably around that, which means, and don't get me wrong, this building certainly wouldn't be a quick flip for a real estate sale, but it's actually in pretty good shape considering that it's been around that long. You know, the fact that it's still standing even. Down here, this is interesting. This is it's like a mesh, metal mesh on the sides, an opening on the top, and this looks like a big old oil can or something. I think there was another shaft right here. There's a lot of tailings, and then you can see these big timber frames right here that obviously once held something up. So probably down there somewhere is an old mine shaft. Real bummer that we got this close to Wonder and can't quite make it up, but you know, that happens sometimes, so it is what it is. But yeah, I'd say it's time we hit the road.
All right, so while I can't be totally confident that this is the right road off of Highway 50, there's a couple things that lead me to believe that it is. The first one being, Fairview Peak is pretty being prominent, and it's that right there. And over the course of 150 years, I don't think it's moved too much. So I know that based on the map, this road should be basically due north of it. This is the only dirt road that I could find that matches that description. So that's reason one. Reason two is in the book, it talks about how the gentleman who found Wonder left Fairview and then proceeded northeast past Chalk Mountain, which that looks a whole lot like a chalk mountain, up into basically a wash. And if you can see way off in the distance there actually is a road which kind of heads up towards the Clown Alpine Range, which also, based on the book, I know is where the Wonder Mine is. So what I think I'm going to do is stick to this road. We'll head up there into the wash and just kind of see what we can find. Well, shoot, this is gonna be a problem. I am all for getting some pinstripes when necessary, but I cannot physically fit, I don't think, down this section of the road. You know, it's possible that I went down the wash accidentally instead of the road itself, but you know, this road is not very well traveled, so it's kind of hard to tell. There's a little bit of an exit right here I could try. I'm not really sure where this goes though. Oh, would you look at that? Sweet, well, I'm not quite sure how I missed it, but that's some good news. I mean, you can barely see my Jeep down there. We've already climbed quite a bit. Fairview Peak is way off in the distance there. We're probably about halfway up what I would say Fairview Peak. The wind is howling through here. But yeah, we'll just hop up the wash here and hop onto the road. Guys, I think this is it.